Greetings, YouTubers. This is BlueHedgehogMan17. First off, I want to apologize for not reviewing video games for so long. I've been so busy and I haven't had the time to upload any more videos. So please, I'm so sorry. Now then, let's get down to business. Today, I will be reviewing a random series of video games for the Sega Genesis. This review will be completely different to the games I had reviewed previously. First game I'm going to review is Golden Axe. This game involves three warriors, Julius Thunderhead, Axe Battler, and Tyrus Flare. And along the way, you collect magic pots that will help you use special powers in your adventure. There are enemies to look out for, and there are bosses at the end of each level, so keep in mind for that. Next, when you make all the way to you make your way to the end, when you make your way to the end, you will approach Deathbringer. Deathbringer is the one who holds the golden axe, and to retrieve it back you must defeat him once and for all. This game is very simple, and I have to say it's very good. And the whole adventure takes place in Turtle Village, and there's a map that shows you the pathway as you get along through the game. So there you go. That's the end of Golden Axe. Next game, Alex Kidd and the Enchanted Castle. This game is the only game in the Sega Genesis to be released, as every other game was released for the Master System / Game Gear. Like every Alex Kidd game, the location takes place at the city of Paper Rock, which is kind of similar to that of Rock, Paper, Scissors. But that's what the Alex Kidd games are all about. You get to play matches of Rock, Paper, Scissors as you control Alex Kidd. If you win, you get to move on. If you lose, you're likely to lose a life, so be careful. There are, I believe, 11 or 12 levels in this game, including the Enchanted Castle itself, and the level before it, in which you have to use one of his powers, the biplane or whatever, to reach the castle. There are special helpful devices that Alex Kidd can use as he progresses through the game, which are good. So ever since I first played this game, I have to say it was pretty good. I sucked at it at first, but then I got better at it. So to be honest, this was a great game, and it's all good. Next game, the sequel to Golden Axe, Golden Axe 2. In this game, the three warriors, Axe Battler, Tyrus Flare, and Julius Thunderhead, make their return. This time, the Golden Axe is stolen by Dark Gold. There are new enemies in the game, and this time the magic pots are replaced with spell books. Equally, you can use the magic power of the spell books to use your special attacks, regardless of which player you choose from. There are 6, 7, 8 levels around there, I can't remember, in this game, and you have to make sure you get all the way through the castle if you're going to face Dark Gold and try to retrieve back the Golden Axe. But watch out for the powers, because he could use the Golden Axe to try to stomp you, so be careful. Also, in this game, replacing the thieves that I didn't mention in the predecessor, are magicians. These magicians are like thieves, but to get the spell books from these magicians, you have to attack them, just like you would get the magic pots from the thieves. Again, I didn't mention the thieves in the predecessor, so I'm mentioning them now. And in just a moment, I'm going to review the third game of the series, but not right now. First off, I'm going to review some other games before Golden Axe 3, but for right now, let's talk about Flicky. This game involves a little blue bird named Flicky. Your job is to control the blue bird in helping restore the chirps in the game. There are 6 chirps in the first 2 rounds, and then there are 8 chirps later in the game. There are also bonus rounds for you to capture a total of 20 chirps for a grand total of 20,000 points for bonus there. Perfect score. Or then again 10,000, never mind. Also, be careful for Iggy the iguana or lizard and Tiger the cat, as they will try to stop Flicky and give chase away from those chirps. This game is pretty similar to that of Sonic 3D Blast, and previously I had reviewed that game when I said that your job was to control Sonic into taking the Flickies through the next dimension through dimension rings. But in this case with Flicky, you have to take the chirps to the exit from there. And also keep in mind that there are a total of 40 rounds in the game. Although most of you may have actually thought, like I did when I was a kid, that Flicky was actually an endless game. Meaning, the only way you could how do I say it? The only way the game is going to end is by you getting a game over after losing all your lives. That's most likely the case. But no, there's actually 40 levels in the game to go through. So that's how it goes. Next game, Streets of Rage. This is the first game of the series with Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, and Adam Hunter. These 3 young warriors work as a police force to try to stop the evil that's being controlled in the city, as the antagonist, Mr. X, is having those monsters, those enemies, control the city. There are 6 to 8 levels to complete in the game. Some are very hard, but I'm sure some of you have gotten used to it. Of the 3 games in this series, in a moment I'm going to review 2 and then 3. But of the 3, this one sucks. I hate it so bad, it was not so good to me. First time I played it, it was awful. Enough about that. Next game, Kid Chameleon. Kid Chameleon, to me, is another great classic compared to Sonic the Hedgehog, Flicky, and even the Cap Attack, especially after I had reviewed the Sonic games and the Cap Attack in my previous Sega Genesis review. Now, Kid Chameleon involves a guy simply named Kid Chameleon, and he has to travel through a whole bunch of stages. Accordingly, it's 100. Wouldn't that be a surprise? And what you do in this game is you control Kid Chameleon through the many levels in the game, and there are various costumes that you can change him into. Of these costumes, they include Berserker, Micromax, Maniacs, Cyclone, and Skycutter, among others. And of course, there are a few bosses in the game too, so keep that in mind. And there are some parts that are safe, and there are others that are dangerous. So always want to be careful when playing such a hard game like this. But this was a good game, and I really enjoyed it. Next game I'm going to review, which I will not be doing full gameplays of these, keep that in mind, folks, is the sequel to Streets of Rage, Streets of Rage 2. This game, first of all, I have to say, this game is my favorite of the three. Because I remember playing this Streets of Rage as a kid on my cousin's Sega Genesis. I never had this game originally, but I remember playing on my cousin's Genesis. So, there you go. Now then, this game involves the return of Axel Stone and Blaze Fielding, and let's see, Mr. X has returned as well to cast his evil shadow with chaos on the city. And Mr. X has also captured Adam Hunter in an attempt to lure Axel and Blaze into a trap. So what Axel and Blaze went ahead and did is they found two new friends to join in the game. Axel's friend Max Thunder and Adam's younger brother Eddie Skate Hunter. So you have the option to play with any two of those four characters in the game if you're playing two players. There are 8 levels to go through, and each boss, as in most games, gets harder than the previous one. And there are many parts to go through for each game, so keep that in mind. My favorite stage in this game is stage 3. I just love the music that they play in the background when doing that stage. It is so great. I really love the music in the background. So, yeah. Next game I'm going to review is Golden Axe 3, the sequel to Golden Axe 2, and the final game of the Golden Axe series to be released on the Mega Drive/Genesis console. This game involves 4 new characters, 2 of which, for most of you, have actually been the same character names, but not quite. The 4 new characters are Cane Grinder, or Cane Blade. His name's Cane Grinder in Japan, Cane Blade in the US. Sarah Byrne, with the H in the middle of her name. That's her Japanese name. Her US name is Sarah Vane. Sarah spelled correctly. So again, Sarah Byrne, S-A-H-R-A, and then Byrne. Japan. English, S-A-R-A-H, Vane. The correct spelling is Sarah. That's her. The 2 characters resemble Axe Battler and Tyrus Flare respectively, seeing as how Cane Grinder and Sarah Vane used the power of Earth just like Axe Battler and Tyrus Flare did in the previous 2 games. And also, there are 2 new characters to join the game. Proud Cragger, that's Cragger, Japanese name. US name, Proud Crag, Kragg, no ER on there, just Kragg. When I first played this game and I looked at him, he always looks like a lion for some reason. I always look at him as a lion. But of the 4 characters, he's the slowest of them all, because of how big he is and how strong he is, etc. And the other new character is Kronos Evil Late. He is the panther, the blue or black panther that makes his appearance in the game. And he is the fastest of them all, because if you tap the D-pad twice, he'll run fast just like a panther or a cheetah would. This is the only game in the Golden Axe series in which you can take multiple paths along the map, and also the Return of the Thieves and the Magic Pots are here. The Golden Axe is stolen by Damned Hellstrike, that's D-A-M-N-E-D, Hellstrike. And in order to successfully defeat him, you would need the rating of B or above in the game, regardless of difficulty, whether it's normal or hard. But you must have a B or above if you want the true ending in the game. So there you go. Really not much else to review here. So let's move on. Next game, Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball. This is the only Sonic game I will be reviewing for the Sega Genesis / Mega Drive on this review of random series here, because here's the reason. I have not reviewed this game previously because I suck at it. This, to me, is the worst Sonic game I have ever played out of all the Sonic games on the Genesis. Those being Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and even Sonic 3D Blast. Of the 6 games, this is the worst game I have played. I mean, it's tough to control Sonic as a pinball, especially when you try to use the timing on the flippers to keep him up there. It's impossible. And just like any other game, you have bosses to take out. Along the way, you will be needing Chaos Emeralds. The first 2 stages, there's 4 stages in total. The first 2, you get 3 emeralds, and the last 2, you get 5. You have 3 bonus stages also for the pinball, regular pinball, and try to hit Eggman and stop him once and for all and try to get the jackpots. Also take note that you can also play for hidden multi-ball bonus stages by collecting every ring in each stage. It's not easy when doing the multi-ball stage, but if you've collected all the rings, you have to find the warp in which it will take you to the multi-ball stage and try to play for as many balls as you can. It's tougher this way because you have to play with 3 balls at the same time until you complete the stage or lose all 3 chances at it. So keep that in mind. So that's it. I'm not reviewing anything else for Sonic Spinball. Okay, I have 4 games left to review. Here's the next one. Streets of Rage 3, the final Streets of Rage game of the series. This game marks the return of Axel Stone, Blaze Fielding, and Eddie Skate Hunter. Adam does not return because he's too busy with other plans. And Blaze writes down a letter to Axel explaining everything. Also in the letter, she explained that Dr. Zan, the newcomer to the game, will join the team. Here's what happens when you play as Dr. Zan. Whenever you pick a weapon, he's only going to use his left arm or right arm or whatever for each weapon as such a beam-like attack. So keep in mind and be careful when picking Dr. Zan. After all, he's half human, half robot, or so I would say anyway. And don't forget, of course, this is the final Streets of Rage game in the actual series, where the city is once again under chaos by the evil Mr. X, and the 4 heroes try to stop Mr. X once and for all. So that's it. That's it for Streets of Rage 3. Next game I'm going to review is Vectorman. Vectorman takes place on distant planets and multiple levels to go through. It involves the antagonist Warhead, who has defeated Vectorman, and Vectorman tries to fight Warhead back, and then what happens is that Vectorman is in fact the main protagonist of the game, and along the way your job is to complete all the levels, and along the way you will also be collecting photons as well as some helpful weapons that can be useful for Vectorman. Also, there's bonus time and checkpoints, etc. It's been so long though, I cannot even remember the last time I had beaten this game of the series. I've beaten the second game a few times, defeating that queen, that bug queen. In a moment I'm going to explain Vectorman 2, but before I explain that one, first I'm going to explain Ristar. This game is another classic, and it was very good. In this game, the evil antagonist Greedy has captured the shooting star hero, so everyone in the planet, the whole world there, calls for a prayer, and the prayer is answered by the hero's son, named Ristar. Now, in this game, Ristar is a shooting star who has the power of reaching high areas and even grabbing onto things with his arms. There are 6 planets, I should say, to go through, each with 3 stages. The first 2 are the main levels of the game, and there are hidden bonus stages in each of those levels. 2 treasures each for a total of 12 treasures. 6 planets times 2 treasures each in the stages is 12 treasures total. Then by stage 3, just like the Sonic games, or Sonic 1 after all, there is a boss you must face. After you defeat every boss in the game, you will move on to the next planet in Ristar. If you can successfully collect all 12 treasures, you will get the true ending, and you will get every password to help you do other runs rather than a normal game. Yes, for this game, you're going to need passwords to do other things rather than just play the game normally. So keep that in mind. And now, the moment of truth. Vectorman 2. Why am I reviewing this game last? Here's the reason. First of all, it involves the return of, well, a Vectorman. And the planet is infested with bugs. Evil, annoying, disgusting bugs. The bugs are infesting the planet thanks to control of that queen. A lot of the same things from the predecessor to this game apply as before. The photons and the helpful weapons. I only remember defeating the queen a few times in the game. Now, in this game, there are 20 stages that you must complete before reaching her, because by the time you face her, you've reached stage 21. Or then again 22, I can't seem to remember. And of course, you have bosses along the way before even facing her. Also keep in mind that Vectorman can also change into other devices, and I didn't mention that in the predecessor, but I'm saying it now. With some of these helpful devices, helpful weapons, you can use Vectorman to change into other objects that might be helpful as you progress through the game. Now, when you successfully defeat that evil monster, that evil queen bug monster, then you will have successfully completed the game, you will get the good ending, and you're all set to go. To be quite honest, I would prefer this game over the predecessor after all. I don't know about you. Okay, and before I close, I forgot to mention, going back to Alex Kidd in the Enchanted Castle, that the Japanese name for rock, paper, scissors is called janken. So when you say rock, paper, scissors, you say janken pan. And, let's see, Alex's dad was kidnapped by Ashra, the game's main antagonist, and you must control Alex Kidd, as I said earlier, through the town of Paper Rock and play rock, paper, scissors. You especially have to watch out as you play rock, paper, scissors, because there are bosses along the way. You have 4 or 5 bosses to face in total, including Ashra himself. But be careful, because when you face Ashra, you have to face Ashra in 2 games of rock, paper, scissors. Not 1, but 2. After you beat Ashra in both games of rock, paper, scissors, he will try to toss all those rocks, papers, and scissors right at you, and you must dodge them and attack them with your special attack. If you can successfully defeat Ashra, the game is successfully over, and Alex's dad is saved. There. That's everything I have to mention. I am done reviewing these games, and very soon I will upload videos for each one in order. So until then, this is BlueHedgehogMan17 saying goodbye. And as I leave, do not forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and be sure to watch some of my videos if you can, for those of you who are fans of Sonic games or any other Sega Genesis games, including the ones I've mentioned in this review. So until then, peace out and goodbye.